Imagine embarking on a journey to the place where the human race began, to a land of myth and legend dating back to the first historical records, to the seat of an ancient kingdom which traded using its own gold, silver and bronze coinage at a time when most of the world was still engaged in barter. Welcome to Ethiopia.
Ethiopia is the oldest independent country in Africa, and one of the world's oldest. As a country, Ethiopia has its origin in about 980 BC, when one of the first kingdoms, known as the Mount, rose to power. Ethiopia comprises of more than 80 ethnic groups, and as many languages. This country has long been an intersection between the civilizations of North Africa, the Middle East and the rest of Africa. Due to this fact, Ethiopia is often referred to as the cradle of civilization. With its rich culture and history, multi-ethnic and multifaceted society where the art of hospitality is alive and well, Ethiopia attracts millions of tourists each year.
Its territory is a whole lot more fertile and mountainous, giving way to a dozen major rivers. At least 3 watershed systems originate from the Ethiopian highlands, and much of the periphery relies on the country as a source of fresh water, earning it the nickname the Water Tower of Africa. Both
At the end of the 20th century, Ethiopia was still a very poor country. Over 50% of the population lived on less than $1.50 a day.
Ethiopia, meanwhile, does have significant issues with food security, but not exactly because they don't have enough water. As most people there live from harvest to harvest, they're prone to food shortages from a bad year. These semi-regular famines that ensue are dramatic, but the country has managed to develop despite them. Since 2004, Ethiopia's GDP has grown about 10% per year, which is immense. In fact, between 2013 and 2018, it became the fastest growing economy in the world, which is especially impressive given its large size.
Let's talk about the Ethiopian economic miracle. Meanwhile, almost 50% of the 112 million population is under 18 years old. Ethiopia is building modern roads, and if you're able to ride on the 6-lane Addis Ababa Adama Highway, only the surrounding environment will remind you that you're in Africa, not somewhere like Germany. In 2015, 2 high-speed trolley lines that carried 200,000 passengers a day opened in the capital country. They also built a high-speed railway 477 miles long that connects Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa to Djibouti and its port, Dorle. Since Ethiopia doesn't have access to the sea, this railroad is critical for the country's economy, since 95% of external trade in Ethiopia occurs through the Djibouti port. But Ethiopia's development overall is slowing down due to a lack of electricity, and the profitability of making it in the country is decreasing due to daily unpredictable power station blackouts. To solve these problems, they decided back in 2011 to build a hydroelectric project costing $4.6 billion called the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which is called Hidas in Ethiopia. The hydroelectric dam with a projected 60 gigawatt-hour power supply.
Located in the northwest of the country, this dam, once completed, will house the 8th largest hydroelectric power facility in the world. It will be nearly 3 times larger than the next largest on the African continent, and the reservoir behind it will be able to hold more water than the entire Blue Nile itself. It will be able to produce, in a year, nearly 16,000 gigawatt hours of electricity. With that, it could fulfill the power needs of 234 million Ethiopians. While that would be noteworthy on its own, it's even more so considering that the population of Ethiopia is only about 109 million. This project, in one fell swoop, will give the country a major power surplus. That is exciting for Ethiopia for two reasons. First, it should have a multiplier effect for development. Not only does building and operating the dam itself provide jobs, but if this energy can make its way to rural areas especially, it could make certain jobs, such as farming, more productive. According to the Rocky Mountain Institute, there's about $4 billion in potential economic opportunity just from electrifying small rural farms and making their processes more efficient, which is the equivalent of about 5% of the country's GDP. Ethiopia has one of the lowest per capita power consumption rates in the world. The average American consumes as much power as 186 Ethiopians, and increasing that can and will improve quality of life and increase economic growth. In addition to that, though, having more power than they need means that Ethiopia can become an energy exporter. The country plans to sell power to neighboring Sudan, which is also severely energy starved, and eventually Egypt, Djibouti, Uganda, and Tanzania too. All in all, according to the World Bank, Ethiopia could become the largest power exporter in Africa, earning around $1 billion a year. For Ethiopia and Ethiopians, this project is a physical manifestation of the country's stunning, inspiring rise, and, uniquely, it's truly their dam. Unlike most large infrastructure projects in the region, this one was largely self-funded by taxes and bonds that everyday Ethiopians bought. That means that a big chunk of Ethiopian people are financially and emotionally linked to it, and it's one of the rare unifying causes that comes to Ethiopians. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is a powerful force for good.